So just behind me is a body being carried into the cremation grounds. Obviously there's a lady that's very distraught that her close one, right, is going to be cremated. What's up everybody? So we're right now in Kathmandu and our first stop is the Monkey Temple, and as you can see behind me is a Buddhist Stupa. So that's how they pronounce Stupa here, so it's actually Stupa. And basically I learned something very interesting from the guy, which is that all these architecture down here are all based on like geometric patterns that are, you know, scientific, that are based on tradition. And if you look at this thunderbolt here, if you look very closely to the thunderbolt area here, so let me just show you guys. Okay, you can see this is a mandala, or in other cultures we call it yantra or yant, right? And basically this is actually a blueprint. If you look from a bird's eye view of the stupa, right, if you look down, these are actually the patterns that you can see, and based on these patterns or blueprints, they actually built the stupa on. So that's how yantras actually, one of the ways yantras actually derive. And okay, we're gonna catch up with the rest of the group, but that's one thing that I learned that is very interesting, and it's very beautiful here. We're on top of a hill, and yeah, we're going to learn more about Buddhism and Hinduism today, so I'll bring you guys along as well. Okay, so we're gonna walk one round of the Stupa, and we're gonna turn the prayer wheels for good luck, to remove karma, and basically wish for world peace. Okay, right now on top of the hill with my guide right here, and we're at the Monkey Temple, and from here the vantage point, as you guys can see, is a crazy magnificent 360-degree view of Kathmandu Valley. And maybe you can share a little bit about like how Kathmandu was actually founded as a place of habitation.
So long ago, the Kathmandu was a huge lake, and it is surrounded by big mountain around, but unfortunately the haze is stopping you to see far away. So there are 4 big mountains surrounding Kathmandu, and the peaks are 3100 meter, highest one, and here in the south is 2500 meter. There are north 27, and there is another 2500 meter. Here where we are standing now is above 1600 something meter from sea level, and the Kathmandu Valley, it was formed from a lake. So long ago, one of the monk received the water of Kathmandu Valley, and he made the first settlement.
So using supernatural powers.
Supernatural power, yes.
Okay. Yes. Really interesting country. Okay, story time. So we're right now in a courtyard of another palace where the king practiced Tantric meditation. And what is Tantric meditation? It's basically the birthplace of occultism, right? Of mystic and mysticism. So basically what the king did is basically he set up this courtyard, as you guys can see around me. And he basically did his meditation on a stone, which is over there, butt naked, right? So he was meditating naked. And this is also a practice that is popularized and sensationalized by the West, which is the Kama Sutra, right? So basically it's a practice, and because in Hinduism we believe in the feminine and the male forces, the yoni and the lingam, right? And so when you have sex, basically it's the meeting of these 2 organs, which also gives new life to the world. But of course it's been interpreted in the West in a very sensationalized and sexualized way, so that's not how it's meant to be. It's actually meant to symbolize the two forces to bring new life in the world. So yeah, this is one of the birthplace of occult, and very lucky to be here, because without this place there wouldn't be any shamans or any practices of animism in the Southeast Asian region that has given birth to things like amulet making, occult practice, spells, etc. And this practice has actually spread and was interpreted into other cultures such as Taoism in China, and of course Taiwan as well, and of course in Southeast Asia. So very interesting to be here. So just take a look at the surroundings. Fantastic history right here. Also built in the 17th century. So we're right now outside the palace grounds, and it's such a chilled environment here. Basically there's a lot of people, locals, just hanging around, having a good time, basking in the sun, although it's not really cold. But yeah, it makes a very good place for conversations and chit-chats and stuff. So man, I love the vibe here. It's super duper awesome. Now we are at
Bauddhanath Stupa. This is one of the biggest stupa in the world. And someone initiated it to build in 5th century.
And just take a look at this. So you can see a lady who is doing kind of like a devotional practice, where she'll do one round. Yeah, one round of bowing in front of the stupa. And this stupa, trust me, it is huge. Okay, it's, I think walking one round of this is about maybe a kilometer or more, right? Yeah, okay. It's crazy. So that shows the devotion of the, in this case, Tibetan lady right here. Oof. Okay, so now we're at Pashupatinath Temple, and according to my guide, right, there's this gentleman here in the white robe. Yeah. So his brother spent 5 years as a disciple.
Yeah, disciple.
And they treat him like a god man, right? Yes. So he has some special power.
My brother believes.
His brother.
He's not married. And he spent several. If he comes from hometown. So
he's a Shiva devotee.
He's devotee. He believes he is the creator of the universe. Okay. My brother.
Okay, so around this temple they do the cremations as well. So you can see there's an ambulance here, and they're actually transporting a corpse that will be burnt at the river. So we're actually heading there right now. And yeah, we're just gonna learn a little bit more about Hindu rites, rituals and rites after death. Okay, so incidentally, tomorrow is Shivaratri, which is the wedding date of Lord Shiva and the goddess Parvati. And as you can see, there's a whole heap of people getting ready for the festival tomorrow. And if you come here, there will be 1 million pilgrims that come here to worship. So we're gonna move on to another place tomorrow, but to see them prepare for the event and to have a mass of people like this is just crazy. The energy is just wild. Okay, so at the back of Pashupatinath Temple, you can see behind me is a small little river, and you can see there's a lot of people here, and most of them are actually watching bodies being cremated along the river. Okay, so there are these tourists here from Singapore, and this is the first time they are probably seeing open cremation, and that's what's happening down here. So this particular body has already been cremated for about 2.5 hours according to our guide, and what happens to the remains is that it will be just pushed into the river. So I believe that this form of afterlife rites is I kind of agree with it. It's sustainable, you don't waste land, and basically there's no need to like maintain a tomb or a grave, you know, thereafter. So, but it's not for everybody. Different religions have different ways of dealing with death. This is the way Hindus do it, in Nepal especially. Okay, so just behind me is a body being carried into the cremation grounds. Obviously there's a lady that's very distraught. That close one, right, is going to be cremated.
You can see the face of
so this is the event here.
And they are carrying opposite. Yeah, normally.
Another story for you guys. So right here at Pashupatinath Temple, so Lord Shiva's temple is on top, cremation grounds is below, and actually this right here, this building right here, is actually a hospice where sick people are almost going to die. And it might seem strange in many Western cultures, but here because they want to die on the left hand side of Lord Shiva. It is actually it's a good thing, right? And then it's also interesting to know that within the temple grounds here, when people actually do the pujas to actually to offer holy water to Lord Shiva, rose water and stuff like that, it actually flows down to this lingam at the bottom where the body is. And before they actually cremate the body, they will use the water of the river to clean the body, because this water is considered holy because of the offerings from the temple on top. So definitely learn a lot of things from this trip. This is another good story that I just wanted to share with you guys. And yeah, man, we'll be exploring more today. Okay, so what's happening now is that on this end where they have finished the ritual, I think the eldest son will actually hold a small bag of his family's remains and basically wash with the holy water. And on the other end right now, where the fresh corpse has just arrived not too long ago, they're actually kind of getting the water to bathe the corpse in, and before they actually do the cremation. So this is a Hindu tradition of afterlife rites in Nepal. Om Jai Guruve Tunai. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Jai.
Om Namah Shivaya.